Sup everyone, welcome back to another video, and today, yes, you guys read the title, we're talking about Genshin being too easy, or is it really too easy? And of course, we are here live on YouTube, right? I don't stream on Twitch, I stream on YouTube. A lot of people have been asking me that. But yeah, we're gonna have chat here witnessing this video unfold. In fact, we've talked about this for a good half of the stream, focusing and zoning into this idea where a lot of people would try to disregard certain tips and pointers or just general discussions that take place in Genshin Impact in the name of why are we even talking about this when the game is so easy. Now, this is something that has been said for many patches. In fact, I would say even more than a year or 2 years at this point. People claiming that Genshin Impact, it's so easy of a game that nobody should ever need to do anything that requires any effort in the game. So this involves when we talk about certain characters being worth it or not, certain characters being good in a certain team comp, certain meta team comps, certain statistics that points to more or less success with the Abyss. So usually what the people who say that Genshin is so easy is trying to basically say is that we don't need any of this stuff. None of the discussion matters, none of the guides matter, none of the theory crafting matter, none of anything matters in Genshin because the game is so easy that you can beat the game without needing any of these resources. Right, and this is the point that I want to focus on today, which is that the irony exists in most of the people who are saying this are ones who have consumed guides either currently or have done so in the past. They have consumed educational content, whether it be in the form of video or reading Reddit threads or reading Genshin papers that other people have posted their findings for, right? Theory crafters who have poured in dozens of hours, if some people have even collectively put in hundreds of hours on these research papers of their findings, min-maxings, and how certain mechanic works. These people likely either know snippets of it from friends or from other communities. So they're talking about this game like it's the easiest game known to mankind, being like even a toddler playing half asleep can beat the game 36-star with free-to-play units. They're making it sound like the game is so trivial that none of this matters, but they themselves have already accumulated such a vast amount of knowledge in Genshin to the point where they already forgot what it was like to not know what they already know. And this is a common occurrence with these people, which is called the curse of knowledge. You can go Google it. It's an actual thing. I didn't make it up to sound cool or something like that. It's actually a thing. The curse of knowledge basically is saying that for people who already have certain knowledge on like a subject or whatever, they don't know what it was like to not know that. So using Genshin as an example, these people who claim Genshin Impact is so easy, they don't know or they don't recall what it was like or what it could be had they not gained access to the information that they have, which this is just my roundabout way of saying that to the vast majority of Genshin players, trust me, all right? Trust me when I say this, the game is actually more difficult than you can ever possibly imagine. Now, before we continue, we have to label what we mean with the word difficult. Difficult can come in different ways. One way, the more well-known way, is that it's a hurdle that is so big which makes people have to expend a lot of time either researching, studying, or just optimizing their accounts or gameplay to be able to clear the hurdle. Another way, which I think is more common and people oftentimes disregard, is the task is tedious enough and requires too much of someone's time to reach the point where it starts giving back, right? So in the case of Genshin Impact, when it comes to casual players or semi-casual players, the fact that they have to go and learn what each artifact set does, along with weapons, and then have weapon synergies, team synergies, reaction synergies, and even within reaction synergies, there are some that are better than others, and there are certain reactions that don't work with others. For example, Beto's burst skill not working properly with a lot of potential synergies for somebody who thinks like, okay, Beto's burst zap, which has Electro, pair it with this, then things should just work out, right? Well, in fact, they don't work out, and it requires proper testing to understand that. So let's say if they brought Beidou into the Abyss thinking it's going to work, and they don't even pay attention to it because they're like, oh, obviously it works because it's just zap, 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 right? And then this whole thing just works out like how it's supposed to. In theory, it's supposed to work, but it doesn't. And they don't know that. So then they can't clear Abyss 12. And they're like, why is it not working? Why am I not doing damage? And then if they don't have the knowledge or they don't know where to even look, right? It's not going to be as straightforward to these people as it is to somebody else who already saw theory crafters test this, talk about this, and warn other players about this. A casual or a semi-casual player wouldn't even know where to look. They'll know something is wrong, but where is wrong? For example, right now, I'm sure some of you guys in chat knows how to fix a broken automobile, like a car or something like that. And there's a lot of you right now in chat who likely doesn't know how to fix a broken automobile. Let's say your car breaks down on the side of the road. Why don't you just fix it by yourself, right? Why don't you just take the thing, pop the lid open, go in and fiddle around with the parts and see what's wrong with it, right? For example, you can frickin' go from the start, the front of the hood, all the way to the tail of the car. And you probably cannot identify what is wrong with the vehicle, but it just takes a trained mechanic a couple minutes to be like, okay, this is what's wrong with the car right here. The mechanic didn't even need to look at the tail of the car. They didn't even need to look underneath the car. They didn't even need to go and like check a bunch of different things. They saw the issue, they knew roughly where to look. And that's my point with Genshin as well. The fact that you guys think the game is so easy because you can go into the game, do something, and if something doesn't work exactly the way you want, you know exactly what's wrong within a couple like attempts, if not immediately. And that all comes from the fact that you have accumulated knowledge to the point where if something doesn't go your way, if something even is like as subtle as having one artifact piece that is offset, like, oh, I forgot that I put that piece on another character, so now I don't have the 4-piece set, you will feel it. Now imagine a casual or a semi-casual player going in with like an off-piece artifact. How long will it take them to identify exactly what is wrong? Especially if they're not avid guide watchers and their artifact sets were already kind of scuffed, right? You guys don't take this into account when you write these comments. You guys don't think about the other portion of the community. It's always just about, oh, for me, it's easy. For me, that I watch guide content and I'm on Reddit and I'm in Discord channels. For me, the game is easy. Therefore, it has to be easy for everyone else. Now, in Chinese, this is also what we call 给自己贴金, right? Basically, by saying the game is so easy, you're making yourself sound good. You're making yourself feel better, right? Saying like, oh, it's so easy. I can beat the game very effortlessly, right? So you guys should be able to do it as well. It's an attempt to put others down, but lifting yourself up. And this like, that's why I think I have a big problem with this, is that most of these people, they say this, but then they don't help the people who are asking the questions. Right above their comment, there's somebody asking a specific meta question. They will completely ignore it. And then they'll come down here and post their little comments saying, lol, game so easy, right? Why should we even try? To me, it feels like they don't know the answer to that person's question because they likely copy and paste a certain team comp from another guide content creator or from a theory crafter, and they just go with that, or whatever iteration the Abyss favors right now. They'll just copy and paste those teams, clear the game, come back and be like, lol, game so easy, right? When they completely ignore the questions of other people. Let's say, right, they use Tartaglia International, and then they use some variants of either Hu Tao, or they use Tartaglia, and then they ridicule others saying the game is so easy. That's my gripe with it. It's the fact that they likely know that they are not going to be able to do what they just did with the Abyss had they not had the help of guides and content creators and all this wonderful resource that most people don't actively seek out. Right? You can blame them saying like, well, you know, the game is not hard enough to the point where you would struggle even with the help of these guides. There are games that are extremely difficult. Even with guides, it would take a great amount of effort and skill to clear the game. Right? But let's stop spreading this idea that Genshin is so easy that it's borderline effortless, that you can do it without needing any prior knowledge, any level of studying, any experience in RPG, that anybody can pick this game up on whatever device, on whatever ping, with whatever characters, and you can beat the game without help, resources. It's not true. It's incredibly disingenuous to the actual effort that has been put in by the overall Genshin community to get the general threshold of knowledge up to this point where we can clear the game with just a little bit of help, just having somebody point us towards the right direction, and we're able to clear the game. Okay, stop taking all this stuff for granted, and if somebody else is asking for help, instead of belittling them, you should actually answer the question, right? You should actually try to help them, just like how the content creators has provided the resources for you. That's all I'm saying. Is Genshin easy? Yeah, with the right knowledge, with the right setup, it could be said that the game is fairly straightforward, right? Genshin doesn't aim to be overly complex. That's where I would leave it. Again, thank you to chat for having me bounce ideas off of them and having the discussion. If you guys want to take part in these discussions, make sure to subscribe and join the live streams on Wednesdays, Saturdays, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So until next time, hope you all enjoyed. Stay safe. Peace, bye.